Welcome back. Critical race theory training in federal agencies is now canceled. President Trump signing an executive order ending the practice entirely last week. Now members of Project 21, a black leadership network, are praising the president for taking steps to end the practice of teaching material that suggests the United States is inherently racist or evil. Joining us to discuss is Vince Ellison, a Project 21 member, also author of this book, The Iron Triangle. Good morning, Vince. Thanks for joining us on the program today. When it comes to critical race theory, you say you're glad to see it go. Why is that?
Well, it implies that all white people are racist, even if they are racist subconsciously, and that they have to take classes to be trained out of their racism, and that African Americans do not have the ability to pull themselves up unless white people allow them to pull themselves up. And of course, that's un-American. That's an anathema to freedom. We are Americans, and there are too many African Americans in this country that's proven that to be false. There are people that do well, black and white. There are people that don't do well, black and white. And it has nothing to do with the color of your skin. It has more to do with how hard you're willing to work, whether you're going to get yourself a good job, whether you're going to be a good Christian, Muslim, or Jew, and whether or not you're going to arm yourself with knowledge for the wise man and a gun for the fool, and walk proudly and strongly in the country of your birth, and be satisfied and content and happy. So critical race theory says this is not possible for a black man in America, that they have to depend on the forbearance of racists, and that they have to ask them for respite, and that we cannot conduct and live ourselves and live properly in the country of our birth unless we are given permission from white society, and that's ridiculous.
And clearly the president was not comfortable with teaching those training lessons to members of the federal government and federal agencies as well, because the White House was also saying that critical race theory is anti-American propaganda and also fueling a lot of the unrest we're seeing in several cities across the country. Is there any way that you're connecting it to this violence, to this anti-American rhetoric?
Oh, yes, of course. It's a deflection. When you look at what's going on in the black community, the fact that we have the worst schools in the industrialized world, we look at the cities burning, we look at the black family being destroyed, we look at the fact that they are separating us from our freedom of religion. They're saying that we can't defend ourselves. They're taking away our Second Amendment rights. And then they take this violence and this canard that we are going to be shot by police, and they use this to cause all of these riots and all of this burning and all this looting. I saw a study by the National Review that said that a black man is more apt to be struck by a bolt of lightning than shot by a police officer. Nevertheless, the left has taken this canard, and they've convinced us that this is our biggest problem in the black community right now. Harvard did a study that said the schools are more segregated now than before Brown versus Board of Education. The Washington Post put out a study that said that there hasn't been any narrowing in the wealth gap between black and white Americans since 1968. The cities are being burned. The family has been destroyed. The schools are terrible. Nevertheless, they've convinced us that being shot by a police officer is the #1 problem in black America. Che Guevara, Fidel Castro would be smiling at this type of manipulation and mind control. It's amazing.
Well, I want to talk to you about those politicians on the left who have either called to defund, dismantle, or redistribute money from police officers and police departments. When you hear that from those politicians, are you concerned about the safety of the communities that the officers are sworn to protect? I mean, you have to think about the people actually living there.
Well, it's Marxism 101, isn't it? First, you defund the population. First, you take the guns away from the population. Disarm the population. Then you defund the police. You get rid of them. Then you send your brown shirts in, Antifa and BLM. You know, BLM stands for burn, loot, and murder. It doesn't stand for Black Lives Matter. And they come in and take over the city governments. And once they take over the city governments, they spread it to the states, and that's how you take over America. This has been done for 100 years all over the world. And now there's this practicing it here in America, and we're watching it happen in real time. But right now, you have people like our group and others all over the country that's ringing the alarm and telling the American people that this is what's going on. Disarming the people and disarming the police has never worked anywhere in the world. They know that. It is a precursor to them going in and taking over these city governments, and then they want to let all of they want to throw out bail and allow all of the inmates and all of the criminals to come out on the street. They know exactly what they're doing. This is chaos, and this is what they want, and this is what they live for.
Well, you're doing good work, speaking out against it and just educating people about this. Vince Ellison joining us live this morning. Vince, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. I was happy to be here.
You got it.